How you doing?
Good, how are you doing?
Good.
Good.
Is Krista gonna come or? Yeah, she is, okay, because I have this order this time.
She wanted me to be here because she doesn't know any answers.
Mhm.
So if there's any questions.
Gotcha. Yeah, we won't have the public hearing until after the workshop. That's when the questions will come forward for that, okay? So that might be a minute. Short and sweet.
Yeah.
Here's our workshop agenda.
You guys think you got a wire for that place, huh?
Well, we was given a letter of intent, so we'll see. We're trying to work out details, but had a lot of people that want it, because nobody's really come up with, taking it all away.
Yeah, I got 2 acres of it all down there next to my place. And a lot of people say, yeah, okay, you're gonna talk to the wife. And you don't see them again.
Are you selling it as one lot, or is?
Oh, I've got 2 lots.
Yeah.
I'm just selling one lot, the empty one.
How much are you asking for it for 2 acres?
Oh, that was 169 for 2 acres right now.
Just right, I mean, because right behind our shop, they sold that 1 acre for 100,000. So,
And then just down the road, they sold an acre lot. It doesn't have water, it doesn't have any sewer to it. And, they sold it for 90.
yeah,
Granted, downside of this lot, or these 2 acres, there's a moat going right through the middle of it. That's got tapped into a ditch. Ditch could be relocated. As long as it flows from one end to the other, no matter where it, how it gets there.
right. So I told the wife, we got that 2 acre pasture right next to the house. I mow it, and keep the weeds out of it, and, you know, keep the grass green and looking good. I sold that 1 acre property for 100 grand. Why don't we subdivide that, sell it as 2 1 acre properties? She said, well, I don't want the neighbors. And I said, well, I agree with you, I don't either, but for that kind of work,
Or just leave those 2 acres and double
yeah,
it. And say, even if you got 180 for it, it's still $90,000 an acre.
yeah.
Yeah. So wide enough to sell the whole piece, and I move on. Hey, Vernon.
Hey, did we, you know how the water board meeting should have been on the 4th of July?
We're having it this Thursday,
This Thursday.
yeah, so we have a public hearing and all that, so. Or budget.
Day after tomorrow.
If you would have read the minutes,
What?
you would have read the minutes.
Yeah. I would have saved it. I didn't want to ask questions that are answered in 30
No, I'm just giving you that. So, yeah, and here's the workshop, and right, we'll go right in for our public hearings. There's, or the into the,
Okay,
yes, yes. I don't know if I told you earlier, but Kristen, they decided that they're gonna do the industrial,
Hmm,
okay?
yeah.
So,
She's not.
Mike, is that your name? Yeah. Okay, fine. This is Mike Weaver, Chris's husband.
Oh, okay.
This is Mayor Condi.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. And Clyde said he was gonna call in on my phone.
Okay.
Said he's gonna watch on YouTube.
Right.
And he'll be on my phone and if he has anything he wants to say.
Okay.
Coming?
Well, he was gonna try to make it.
Okay.
He was. He wanted to come. Hey, Margaret, come on.
Is Dave right out here?
Hey, Dave, he went that way. I don't know where it's at. But, yeah. What you got for me? Your bill, your payment? What you got for me? I can't. Okay. What are you gonna do for us?
I don't really know, I already have a share on it, but we want to move the shed behind the baby. So far I have.
Or you move out here?
Yeah, I thought you were very much considered. He could do a lot of work with all seven.
Oh, that's all day long. Okay, sure.
I might have so that's.
Well, you need another shed.
I know.
What's that for shed?
Yeah, they cost us for shit.
So did you bring that in my office, Mark? Oh.
So sad.
Tell you what, that vacation is hard work.
Well,
I gotta come home
Hey, I
and
mean,
rest up.
Boys was right at, people only can't rent stuff.
Oh,
It's a good drive.
5:30.
yeah, it is.
I can do it. Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, tell me who this is again.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that, Tom.
It wasn't quite so bad coming home this time.
I just.
Seemed like 9 out of 10 times coming back from Boise, I'm bucking ahead now. All the way from Rock Springs home. Side wind coming from, well, no, actually be from South Pass. Buck headwind, when you get to Farson, it's a side wind, Rock Springs. Is that a little cutoff for what's got this last rough. I can't do it.
Boysen's the one north of Riverton, right?
Right, that's what showing.
Yeah. I always get that one confused with the one over by Casper. What's the one by Casper?
Alcoba?
Alcoa, yeah.
There's people say Alcoba or Pathfinder. Yeah. One of the days, probably after I retire, I want to fish Glenville. Like late May or June.
At Wheatland?
Yeah. I guess it's an amazing walleye fishery.
You know those walleye I brought home from Canada? Oh. I brought home walleye, a pike. A pike, they're home in Canada. Walleye.
Oh, I am close. Well, it's just not the best eating fish I've found. I've had lots of seafood, There's one fish that's caught, it's kelp cod, they call it green ink, and flake, and then the meat's actually green and flake.
Really?
When you cook it, it's nice and flaky and white. That's pretty close to raw.
What's new, Vernon?
Hey there,
There you go.
Anything new?
anything new?
It's just hot.
Yeah.
That time of year.
Yes.
I like the cold when they're hot.
I think a lot of people do. I like the cold, I don't like the hot. I think seventy, spring, I like 70. Yeah, I love the fall. Well, spring is so windy.
Spring blooms love it. Fall.
But we have 2 months in
Yeah.
the fall month season, the last one was the freeze.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, spring is kind of weary around here, I think.
So who's not gonna be here? Clyde?
Yeah, Clyde's calling in.
Hi,
Winnemucca.
Carl.
It was in Winnemucca.
Yep.
Hi, Carl.
Lucky him.
Good, thanks. So I rode my four-wheeler down here. Is that even legal?
No.
Is there anything if I'm driving together or
You
anything?
can do what you want.
You're real like e-bike.
What?
Rode my e-bike.
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't go 23 miles an hour.
It goes, yeah.
They'll be making a license all this.
What do you worry about? Why you like to share it with Judge Vocal be here?
I don't know that. Lawyers costing us a lot of money. Isn't he? Do we really need him? Who's a lawyer?
We will. We will. At some point in
I
time. we will.
think he thinks.
Yeah.
We have had it up before.
No. People get mad at him.
I mean.
She's just like, I can't see her. She's a.
Have you been?
What's his name?
How are you?
You snagging the baby on the way
Oh,
Hey.
let's keep myself in.
How is that?
So now, after you get all this work across the street, now he's gonna see Sal. Christus, over there. Is that the plan?
What's that?
He's gonna sell the, after we get all that work across the street.
Yeah. Down there, and sell it.
These new places that might bigger.
A little bit.
Are you gonna be here?
I'm good, how are you? And how's life for Carl?
Busy,
Yeah?
Doing what? Come on, man.
chasing the deer off.
Yeah.
Got my potatoes the other night.
Oh,
It's a girl, right, again, you in there or what?
Just walked right past it.
Isn't everything been frozen already? Any kind of vegetables?
Oh, mine look good.
That's how much later.
9 foot hole, dude. In the ground.
That's impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty
What's
impressive.
your stuff? Hi.
That's good.
18 plant waters.
Oh,
I had to
geez.
do something with that.
Hmm.
I don't think I did it.
Well, 80. I love the city. I can borrow it.
June.
They're not good at Dillers.
Mikey's coming.
Well, there's times that they don't cut all as nice as they should anyway either. You know, we were at like back 2 weeks ago. And all of those are great. That's why. Kind of loud and move
As long as you don't talk about it. That was one of the first things you talked
Yeah,
about.
I started doing it.
Oh, Vance will be here, but Clyde's calling in.
Okay.
What can you say to us? I guess the kids do.
Well, there. Okay, no clicking on there.
Right, you see, maybe set my mark, I just stay looking like it all over.
I'll kick you into the table.
I don't think.
Keep you under lock. Oh, yeah.
I guess maybe.
We went a long way around.
That's what I got.
Yeah, exactly.
No. I'm like, Apple City and, there's actually a lot there. Not again, what? It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, and then we have a meeting.
Feels good, I'm alone.
You like, I love it. It's like me and my son driving to new jobs or whatever. I got the AC as high as it goes, he's got like the heater on.
Oh,
The best thing I can do is air conditioning.
I know, so cold, I have a heater running all summer long, I freeze, with the air conditioning's right in the center of my office.
Cause air conditioning seats that feel like heat fans. I gotta admit it. But they are nice.
I don't know, she has that 80.
you did? Can't find it.
Make sure that those numbers.
You gotta send it to me too. A lot of times, you know,
Learning to understand how the world reacts. Learning how to Very good. Did you say you're gonna be on YouTube?
Yeah. Guys, we'll pull it up, he's got back to the room, so we'll just pull it up right now.
Okay, yeah, we're just giving Lance a couple minutes, he's not here yet, so.
Okay.
We'll get started when we get here.
Hey, do we have a paper copy of the last meeting we said for the prices for the sewer and stuff?
oh, yeah, a copy of the resolution?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Additional copy of questions?
I don't.
Yeah, you did forget that.
Oh, yeah.
How close that trend was to the windows.
That is.
It looks so good, thank you so much.
Like that? We'll run the back side and off and that. That's just.
Yeah.
Soft, just a little bit.
Oh, there should be 3 pages. Did I give you 3
Go back close.
Thanks, guys. The third page, or the second page?
After this, what you eat, more.
Because I'm sure just them up and down. Yeah, I know.
Come on, come get there yet.
We started the second reading, but then there were so many questions.
I was there, but I one question.
Technology is a wonderful thing.
How's my hair
Not as good as mine.
I don't know.
Well, I think we'll get started. So, Lance shows up here in a bit, we'll catch him up. But welcome everybody to the workshop tonight. We've got a couple of things to go over, so we'll get started. The first thing on the workshop agenda says Casey Floyd, 4-H. Thank you. This is your 4-H project? Okay.
Fantastic. That takes a lot of courage to stand up here, doesn't it? A little scary. You did good.
Yeah, good job. Hey, there we go.
Thank you. Yes. Good job.
Good job. Very good. You're squeaking a little bit here, Clyde, so I'm gonna turn you down.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he's good. Okay, so on the agenda, we show Stan Frank. Wyoming State.
Yeah, and he did, play Disney before he could get here, so he might come in a little later
So,
or not make it,
Yeah,
because he's busy right now. But
he
he
doesn't,
wanted to come and just introduce himself to us,
okay,
because he's part of our, he's the running for Wyoming State representative in this area.
okay.
And he just wanted to meet him. So,
What has he done in the past?
What has he done?
I mean, I've seen his name around, but I can't remember what he's done.
he's been a state representative before,
Oh.
and then Scott Heiner ran against one another, and Scott Heiner won the election.
Okay.
I thought it was Andrew Tom.
I'm pretty sure it's Tom.
Is that? Oh, well.
Really close.
Well, no, I'm Kevin, and that'd be his brother or something. Yeah.
And
Is it
so,
Tom Christie? Okay,
so
I apologize.
he's running against, Scott Heiner,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Okay?
So
So,
I didn't have to check, but it's probably, I don't know if it's right out there.
okay. So next on the agenda, public hearing to request a zoning change from SR1 use to industrial. SR1 is
Rural residential.
yeah, rural residential. So they want to change that to industrial use, with property located right across the street here, at 50 Appaloosa Drive, owned by Crystal Weaver. Okay, so
We're gonna have a public hearing.
yeah.
Just right after this meeting before the main council.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, as soon as,
But we're just bringing it up.
yeah, as soon as the workshop's over, then you'll tell us what it is you had planned for. And we're also, after that, we're gonna have a public hearing on the Verizon contract, regarding the long-term one-time payment lease agreement with Verizon for the property where the Verizon tower is up on top. They, just for some background, they pay a monthly fee, and we just re-signed a 30-year agreement. And they offered a one-time buyout. Well, it's not they wanted it to be a perpetual, and we changed that to 50-year. So we can get into those details in the public hearing. All right, now, so do we have an update on the urbanization grant?
Yes, sir. Everybody hear me okay? SLIB awarded us our MRG, which is Mineral Roads Grant, for the sum of $382,144. And that's what we'll use our $115,000 that we budgeted for as a match.
152.
Yeah. Anyway, our match of the project will be 115, and we've already put $50-some thousand into it for engineering. Right now, our timeline is the bid, first bid notice will be paper July 10th, and then probably on the 17th, you have to have 2 consecutive times for 2 weeks to make a legal bid notice. And then we'll have a mandatory pre-bid meeting on the 24th. So that basically anybody who wants to bid on it needs to show up so they know what the project's all about.
Okay.
And then on July 31st at 3 o'clock, we will open the bids right here at Town Hall and read them aloud. Each bid will open them up, read them, and basically document what the bids were. And then Forsgren and Associates will take those bids and they'll tabulate them, make sure they're accurate, make sure they're complete, and then make a recommendation at the first meeting, like the meeting in August on August 13th, and which contractor to go with.
Okay.
And that was number 6 out of 52 projects in Scorpion.
Is that our council meeting date, the 13th?
Yes.
So we can award it
Yes,
during our,
right. So you can award the
because
contract.
it has to be then.
Okay.
And Dave, when would the completion date be?
We don't have a completion date yet, and know when the contract will start. Our goal is to be done before mid-fall, before it starts freezing.
Okay. That was my basic.
What is the actual scope of the work? What are we
Urbanization.
trying to scale it down to?
Basically, 1,600 feet start right here down, all 1,800 feet, or 800 feet that way, 800 feet this way, on both sides of the road. And that's it. I mean, it's 3,200 total feet in the project.
Is that curb and gutter?
Yes,
And
that's just-
sidewalk?
No, no sidewalk,
Just
just
curb.
just curb and gutter.
That's correct.
So, and I'd like to commend Dave on these, I mean, this was we tried 3 times. And if we just struck out 3 times, we're just gonna, but Dave put in a lot of time and effort into that. And we got accepted this time, so.
So let's give it
Appreciate
a.
it. Okay, so that's where that stands. Next on the agenda, resolution.
Can I ask
Yes.
you a question, sir?
Sure.
You said it'll go 800 feet in each direction?
That's approximately.
Gotcha. So are we hoping that it'll get to the other stop sign, so like the whole park will be?
Oh, yeah, it actually starts, I would say 400 and some feet to the north of Deer Mountain Road. And to the north, and to the north of Mike Cross approach to
Gotcha.
his business. It will start to the north of that.
Okay.
And then like I said, then it's gonna go past all 4 intersections, basically.
Okay.
And up 800 feet that way.
Cheers. Gotcha.
It's gonna draw some attention to that intersection.
Gotcha.
And just to, I mean, when we had this discussion before, we talked about streetlights and that sort of thing. At the last WAM convention, there was a vendor there who does street lighting and poles and stuff. And he told me it's per pole, it's between $11,000 and $13,000 per pole. That seemed a bit, I mean, that's for a deck, you got LED light with the solar thing on, so you don't have to hardwire it. I mean, they have 2 different kinds, you can hardwire some, but the LED with the solar panel were about $11,000 a piece. So, yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Al.
Yeah, I was just saying if we have contacted YDOT and they said curb and gutter is about the best way to attract attention, to let people know you're coming through a town. They said streetlights aren't as effective just because you only notice them at night when they're on. So we're going with the curb and gutter first, but down the road, a few of those streetlights might not hurt.
Well, my question was, is the sign for the Tampa River, the big metal ones, is there any way we can maybe, look good, plus maybe a little bit, draw a bit more attention at night? Get just a little like the, little garden solar ones that shine up on the sign? It make it look good, but that's about
Actually,
it.
we kind of evolved, kind of looking further past that. What we're looking at right now, I've talked to a couple of different electrical contractors, and they said those little solar ones, they don't last very long.
Better than what's there.
And I agree, but, if we're gonna do it right.
Sure.
So anyways, what we're gonna do is, they're actually gonna put a solar panel and charge a battery, and then run the lights.
Also, you've already got that in work.
You bet.
We have it
Awesome.
It's even budgeted for, and we've also talked, part of the project is right now, it's just a piece of 4x aluminum behind the sign, and we're gonna install a reflective light. So that'll make that easier to see as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, reflective light, you can see the white versus the aluminum will be a lot easier to see.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's fantastic.
I have a question. So is this gonna be able to allow us to reduce the speed limit through here?
That's what we're pushing.
Yeah.
I mean, YDOT has said you have to make it look like a town. And they say you have to create friction. They said the best source of friction is a highway patrol car parked right on the edge of the road. That'll make people slow down. But other than that, start putting in curb and gutter. They said one good thing is if there's a school built. Well, we don't have that. Or a church or a store. maybe down the road, but this was the starting point. You
We
decided.
we have a blue F-150 that looks like a DOT patrol. We'll go in and get it to sit on the corner and we can just put some lights up on top of it.
I'll put a wrap on too, we can light it.
We can wrap it, we can light it, and it doesn't run right now, so it can just sit there.
Yes.
I noticed the other day, you know, just before the 4th of July, a couple of people, I don't know if they were teenagers or just, you know, they tried to get across this road and darn near got hit by somebody speeding by. And so if we can do anything, I mean, I'll take a petition around to get DOT's attention if you want, to every house or whatever, so.
What we will do, once the curb and gutter is installed, we will petition again. We petitioned at least 3 times, I can remember. Anyway, to reduce the speed limit. And DOT comes out and they do what they call a speed study. They set up the traffic counters and everything else. And unfortunately, all 3 of them were done in November.
Yeah,
And then they did it during the middle of the week.
right.
Well, Vernon has talked to basically Big Dog, the DOT now, and the governor's chief of staff. When this project is done, we will request when they do the speed study, and we're also going to throw in verbiage, put up a temporary, whether it's just a trailer mounted, but put up a temporary 45, 50 mile an hour stand that says reduce speed ahead, and then do your speed study.
Yeah,
Because what that speed study does is, what they keep coming back and telling us is 85% of people driving down the highway will do 65. Well, that's what the speed limit is. That's what it's posted. You know, and it shows the variable between 70 and higher and 65 and lower. But 85% of people will drive 65. And that's the posted speed limit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, once this is all done, we will petition them again. And like I said, actually, I petitioned them way back then, they asked them, you know, out of 500 people, we got 400 of them that want speed reduced.
Are we allowed to put in a crosswalk?
No, I mean,
Only with permission.
yeah, only with permission. If you lose the, like,
Anything that happens on the highway, YDOT has to, but I met, Darren Westby is the man's name, and he's over YDOT. And he's the guy, he told me to do, he's the one that put up the, you know, the flashing red lights we got now, and after that meeting I had with him, he said, we'll do that, and they put that strip there, and then they put the yellow flashing when you're approaching, so YDOT did that. And he said, and after that's all done, he said, if you will put up the approaching the stop sign, also just before the stop sign, pick up those approaching. He said, once you got that done, he said, we'll do 2 speed studies and you tell me when you want them. So he said he would do them on the dates that we ask him to, instead of doing it in the middle of the, you know, winter.
So like
We'd like it done, yeah, when the Utah Navy driving back and forth to Bear Lake.
So they recognize the same vehicle speed. There are 400 of us doing 90.
I don't think we need to, I mean, as he calls it, the Utah Navy, they drive like crazy. I mean,
Yeah, so yeah, Mr. Westby, he's had his hands full with that slide up by Jackson.
yeah,
But, you know, they dealt with that, so yeah, Darren Westby he told me, he said, I'll have those things done by June 1st. I thought, you're right. And he did. He was as good as he was. So I told him that I had a meeting with him a month ago about planning. I went up, told him, I shook his hand and I said, you got it done. They're there. Thank you very much. So yeah, he gets things done, which I appreciate.
that was nice.
Okay, last thing on the agenda, resolution, any other? Good on that one? Resolution 2403, resolution to accompany the 2024-2025 fiscal year proposed budget ordinance establishing all fees, costs and charges to be collected for services, utilities, security, or other town purposes during 2024-2025 fiscal year. It's 2 year. So,
And those are posted on the bulletin board.
so, okay, so the fees, and they didn't change?
You can,
So, yeah, if you wanna know what your fees are, what they're going to be for the coming year, they're gonna be the same?
yeah, and the resolution will be posted on our website.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you wanna know what
That's
those
just
are.
like, it's like our sewer fees, each sewer user gets paid, each charge $60. Those are the kind of fees that are on here.
Yeah,
Your irrigation fees, your shut-off fees,
yeah,
your deposits,
yeah,
your irrigation, your town fees.
yeah.
And you had questions for?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so that's our workshop. Now we've got two, yes.
Should I just ask, and because we've been gone the last 2 times, how is the, dealing with the houses that are abandoned up like on Mountain and those places? How's that going to get those things resolved?
Well, that process is pretty slow. We're still,
One of them is actually, I see they've actually gone in and mowed the yard, cut the brush, and have actually started working on the place.
Okay.
The other one, the people live in Arizona, I have a hard time getting hold of them. And then the third one down on the far end, that one there is in a tax lien. Somebody has filed on it, and it takes, I believe, 5 years. They have to pay the taxes before they can own it. Once they own it, and then they're responsible for it. Right now, it's kind of just in limbo, doesn't belong to the county, it doesn't belong. And the person that did own it is deceased. And so, yeah, it takes a little time for some of that stuff.
Oh, you did get a postcard. Did you receive one of the postcards in your mailbox?
Yes.
That we sent?
Yes.
Good.
yeah.
Open Valley.
Yeah.
We were really worried about you.
I got 3.
You got 3?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll start, with the public hearing.
I'm gonna get my report.
So Dave, is anybody responding to that thing, what kind of pipe they have?
Oh, yeah, actually, I was very, very happy.
Really?
I mean, I was just very surprised. I think I did 50% of them. I'll bet I've got 80 or 85%.
So I don't have to worry about it.
I don't know if I got 3 yet. Unfortunately, as far as that survey or that, what do they call it, inventory that we have to do, Bear River's water from here to Evanston is fairly new. I mean, it's not just very, but it is. And so when they installed or tied into it, it was put in the pump or copper. But some of the systems were put in, basically tied to an old existing curb stop. And from the curb stop to the house, some of it was white pipe, plastic, and some of it was galvanized. Neither one of them had a problem with EPA, as long as there was never any lead in the system, galvanized.
Okay.
So far, we're looking for that.
Looking really
That, you know, just like
we're talking to EPA, a couple of other.
And then we'll adjourn the public hearing.
Yeah.
We're trying to increase it, safe haven, so we got long-term where we've got a year on those. There's not that like the age, and I've got, 85% response back.
So do we have to make a motion or
We're on
what?
that service inventory
You
sheet.
can, we'll make a motion.
Before we can hear,
Agreed.
3 years.
what, 4, 5, 6 houses here. For those who
Yeah.
want to come, we're going to be agreeable to do this.
Yeah.
Because it will take
Exceptions
sections.
out. Throughout the whole season, just house. Essence is, you can see so many colors all over the house.
And then, Ryan's house.
Well, no, we just.
We shouldn't have to, yeah.
I don't know, what you guys want. sides.
I want to across the street.
Okay.
With no house.
Okay, so we'll, turn the recorder on. So. You still there, Clyde? I guess he, okay, just chip in when you need to say something.
And you're, whenever you're ready,
Okay.
Darren.
All right, we're ready, you can turn it on.
Okay,
Okay.
first public hearing.
We'll call this public hearing to order. Present is Mayor Vernon Condy, councilpersons Troy Nolan, BJ Stokes, and attending over YouTube is Clyde Cofield. This public hearing is to talk about a zoning request to change from SR1 use to an industrial use for the property located at 50 Appaloosa Drive, Bear River, Wyoming, owned by Krista Weaver. And if you'd like to just tell us what you got planned or.
It's okay for me to speak, or do you want?
Sure,
me to speak?
yeah, yeah.
You want me to stand?
Yeah.
Okay. And just for your record, I'm Mike Weaver, Chris's husband. So we have the property for sale. We have a letter of intent of a buyer, and we've been asked not to disclose name as of right now until we get steps settled out and agreed upon. He is a local person out of Evanston. He owns a trucking company. He has 2 trucks. He is just gonna remain a small trucking company, more of buying it for show, to have his own little shop, to do whatever he wants with it. So basically, small town, just kind of like we are. Doesn't want to do too much with it, maybe spruce it up, clean it up. So we're asking to change that over into commercial industrial use. You guys want that as well. So I think that's all. If this letter of intent, we don't agree upon a price, it's still just open for sale to anybody, pending approval, of course, for whatever the business is. What we do want to make sure is that we don't ruin our chances to be able to sell it to somebody to build a residential home on and have it be commercial. If they can do one or both, that would be great. Because we have more than the 3.5 acres behind the canal that we could actually include in the sale. Somebody could build a home back further on the property and then have the shop here at the front. We just want to make sure that we're not limiting ourselves to who we could sell it to if we change it to commercial. So,
And by our zoning ordinance, industrial or commercial does not restrict a residential house in that zone.
Well, that's obvious across the street.
okay.
There we go.
So, and going back to what we were talking, I mean, puts a business closer to the, for the reduction of the speed kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what Wyckoff said. As soon as people see some things, rather than just pastures and stuff, as they come along 89, so that's the kind of thing that causes friction as well. So, any discussion or questions or comments from anybody? Yes.
When it comes to business licensing and that sort of stuff, does the town have input on what is allowed once you change that to industrial in any way? Just if it's something, not right now, I'm not speaking about this specifically, it's just more in general of if there is something that we ultimately wouldn't want there, does the
Yeah,
town have
that's the
input?
question, yes.
Yes.
In the zoning code itself, it does spell out certain things that are allowed. There is some of it that is allowed by conditional use. We really, saying that, we really don't say you can't have a pig slaughterhouse.
Okay.
We don't have that in there. I know that's a little bit extreme, but it's just that we do limit what industrial is, what commercial is, what type of residential and so on.
Okay.
So this would just be a trucking company like it is right now? Is that what it would be?
Yes. Yep.
All right.
And my understanding is it takes it's an ordinance, so we would next month, we do the first reading, so that it gives people 3 months to hear about it and give input. So the final decision can't be made tonight, yes.
What about the noise ordinance? Is that possible, is the city control that, or?
Noise ordinance.
Like, down the line, if it's because a bigger trucking company, or, where they're coming in and out, and engine braking and all that. Is
Does the city control that?
Do we have a say on that?
Yeah.
That is something that can be addressed through the zoning ordinance or even our nuisance ordinance.
As of this moment, there's nothing there. However, if residents have complaints with it, then it can be addressed pretty quickly.
Okay, but now I see where he's coming from, and for the trucking company, we're dropping the speed limit. As soon as we drop this speed limit, we're gonna have Jake brakes rolling in both directions, day in, day out.
Living on the highway, we have a lot
Yep.
of them already.
So-
And you're right, that's something that can be addressed as well. And if the speed limit is reduced, and then just for clarification, I stood up many years ago, I actually put up no Jake brakes, that's not the proper term. It's compression brakes. But anyway, if the speed limit does get reduced, and there's no guarantees on that.
Yep.
Just work with one up on one, they won't make any promises, they won't commit nothing, but they will do the speed standards and all. But that could be something that can be addressed, anyway, and that's something the mayor and council can by emergency.
Yeah, but it's like, anything else, they're gonna not listen, I know, so.
Well, it's kind of like last year, we had a lot of trucks that were on gravel out of the pits. They had their brakes going off at 6:30 in the morning, 7 a.m. And we addressed it pretty quick, and it did simmer down quite a bit. Like you said, it's never gonna be 100%, but it was better than what it was, so.
Loud fire, save lives.
That's right.
Did you have anything, Clyde?
No, is that Dave was speaking like here?
Oh, okay.
Actually, I was even facing the other way, Clyde.
Yeah. Okay, so, any other comments?
I think it'd be just fine.
Yeah.
I don't see where there anything is right next to whatever else we got, it seems there's three else. So,
It looks like it was designed for that, so,
For some odd reason.
yeah, it's just a minor little thing, but.
So it doesn't seem like it's that different than what it is right now, so.
Yeah. We have an ordinance drawn up, we'll read it August, September, October. And so that's the timeframe we'll be looking at. Okay? All right, that works for everybody, then discussion, the more discussion will adjourn, this public hearing at, I'm supposed to say the time when we open.
That's all right, I wrote it down.
Yeah, okay, so we're adjourned at 6:06, and we have one more public hearing, and we'll open that public hearing. In attendance, the same Mayor Vernon Gotti, council people Troy Nolan.
Let me, stop this and start it again.
Oh, it's gotta be separate?
Well,
Just be easy, okay, I have to look it up.
yeah, they're two different public hearings.
Okay. Good.
Should that be for you?
That's awesome. Should have brought my nerves together.
All right.
Don't want to break your glass.
It's reading.
Okay, so we will open this public hearing at 6:07. In attendance is Mayor Vernon Condi, council people Troy Nolan, BJ Stokes, and Clyde Copeland is attending over the phone. This public hearing is called to order. And it is to inform and gather input from the citizens of Bear River, Wyoming regarding long-term, one-time payment lease agreement with Verizon for the property where the Verizon tower is currently located. And what we have right now is Verizon pays us, they don't lease the land, they lease the access. So they can get into it and do what they need. We just, the lease is up in February of 2025, and they're paying us
Starting now, not until next. Right now, they're paying us $1,000.
Oh, yeah.
$1,002.
Yeah.
$1,020.
Yeah, right now it's about 1,000.
Then they're gonna reduce that down to 8.
Yeah, they, for business reasons, or whatever, yeah, they reduced that on a 30-year, so for the first 5 years, it's gonna be 8 something, and then they're gonna increase it by 15% for another 5 years. And then increase it 15% for another 5 years. And for a 30-year, we've signed that agreement. And a while back, Verizon contacted me and said, if we were to give you $115,000, could we just have that lease forever? And our attorney advised us, don't go perpetual, put a 50-year, he suggested 40. So I got hold of Verizon and I said, would you go 40 years? And he said, they'll go 40 years, but they'll decrease it, they won't offer you the full 115. They said if you'll go 50 years, they'll still go the full $115,000. So we agreed to that, and we signed a letter of intent, which just means we're interested in pursuing this. Because the way 10 years from now, cell phones may every satellite phones. So we're just thinking, because the agreement we signed, I ran some numbers, and we'll get about $115,000 in the first 10 years of that agreement. So if you think 10 years from now, cellular technology might be obsolete, then we'll be money ahead. But if we're still on cellular phones in 30 years, then we'll have lost some money. So it's a gamble either way. But some people expressed an interest in taking that lump sum, $115,000. So they've sent us a contract. We're going to read it over, but I just would like to know if town people think it's worth a gamble. If you think we're still going to be on cell phones in 30 years, then it's not a good deal. But if you think we're off cell phones, so, technology, the way it advances, so just
I wanted to commend the council for having a public meeting. Technically, for a lease, a public meeting is not necessary, but for a sale of property, they want a public hearing with the findings that is in the economic development benefit to the town in order to sell. And my thought was that this is a long enough lease. Let's jump through that hoop and make a finding that we think it's in the economic benefit to enter into this lease, even though the town's going to get access back down the future. I also wanted to note that a quick look on Zillow, there's one lot right now that's listed in this area. It's a 2-acre lot listed at $169,000 for sale. I don't know if that's the going price, but what I'm told that the lot that we're talking about is between a quarter, less than a half acre, maybe a bit more than a quarter acre. So it's a much smaller area. So this very much may be in line or above an actual sale price if it was to go forward. But we didn't have to jump through this. The council didn't have to jump through this, but I think it's a good step just to make sure that the citizens are heard.
Yeah, and just to be clear, we're not selling the ground. What we're selling is the access to it. If Verizon says this tower doesn't work anymore, it's in the contract, they dismantle the tower, they restore because it's on a cement pad, they do everything. And Verizon told me whenever that happens, they usually have that done within 90 days. So if they decide they don't want that tower anymore, they restore that piece of ground to its original. Yeah, okay.
Go ahead first.
Would they be building more towers? Or just what's there now?
They haven't approached with anything like that.
They have to approach the town and get another piece of property, because the piece of property they have is full.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we're for.
Yeah, did you have something there?
Yeah, so according to your numbers that you're running, if we stayed monthly, within the first 10 years, we'd still make that 115,000
Yep. With that 15% increase,
for the 30
by
years.
2035, we'll have made $115,000. And this will go for 50 years, from 2025, well, from the day they cut us the check, for 50 years. And then I get, after 50 years, they'll renegotiate.
To be honest, my thought, my opinion, I mean, we all heard of Skylink and technology's moving fast. But how affordable is it gonna be for the average Joe? So I'd be willing to go stay on the plan and not do the buyout, because before that technology is affordable for everybody, it could be another 20, 30 years. So then we'd be even farther ahead money-wise.
Yeah.
I mean, look at when cell phones came out versus, landlines.
Yeah.
It took some time to get it, and now.
Okay,
That's true. Yeah, did you have something?
So they're currently either doing monthly or yearly. Can they get out of it? Or did they already sign this 30-year lease that we're discussing that exists now versus switching over to a prepayment? Are they already locked into 30 years?
Yeah, no.
But they
That's what I'm wondering.
They have the right to end it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you do the new one and they prepay,
They,
they
yeah,
don't get their money back,
They have to
and
sign.
5 years from now, they want to take their tower out.
right, yeah, they cut us that check, and that money's ours, and then 2 years from now, they say, we're done, we want 3/4 of that money. They don't get that back.
How will that affect their cell service if suddenly they take the tower down?
That would be a business decision for Verizon. But, like I said, we're just leasing.
Is it just Verizon that's up there, or that's another?
I mean,
No, you
Proposal from
can't.
that
Up there too.
yeah,
Union just built a brand new tower for their north. Up on, what's his name? Cook, our house property.
Oh,
Union, and they used to be space from Verizon, but just cut the big business. Verizon jacked up Union's lease, so Union built their own tower. So there's 2 cell towers up there, one's within the corporate limits and one's out.
and that's where I'm at this whole deal. If no big corporation ever gives you this great deal, there's something always in the background they're gonna do, so we're not catching somewhere.
yeah, that's
Sorry,
why,
I've been around it for too long, I've seen it too many times.
yeah, I've sent the contract to our attorney, he's reading it over, and so, yeah.
Well, and as you said also, it's a business deal to them. They're only gonna pay 115,000, where over 50 years, that may be 600,000 in all reality.
Yep.
With those additional increases.
Yeah.
My belief is stick with the current one.
Stick with the monthly. Okay.
I was just wondering, with that large amount that you'd be getting in, would that be invested into something where we would be gaining an interest or something that would offset the
Yeah, with our surplus funds, we
Go
have,
going to our general fund.
yeah,
okay, so it wouldn't be invested in it?
No, it was, yeah, we already have.
The
general fund is,
Yeah, the general fund is in
yeah,
there.
it's a money market or?
We have two money markets also.
Yeah.
And we could put it in that.
Just to know, basic quick numbers, $100,000 at 6% in 10 years gives you about $180,000 at the end of that 10 years. $100,000 in 20 years at 6% gives you about $320,000. If it went through the entire 50 years and nobody moved that $100,000 at 6%, it would be like $1.8 million that the town would have for that amount. So on those comparisons, if it was just invested at the basic rate, that's probably a more accurate comparison than just a flat, because you're getting the money up front and then you have time money factor to figure out what is that.
As long as it doesn't get spent.
If it doesn't get spent, or if it's, or if it frees up money that would be spent that's in the general fund, and that money doesn't, it's fungible. But if it frees up, so that things can remain.
Well, one of the biggest thoughts I know I personally have is that the other problem we have is that because they do have a backup clause at any point, they could back out 2 years from now. Somebody opens up a property on a bigger hill, they get better reception, guess what? They go that way. And so, and then you've got 2 years, and that's it.
And the city does not, the city's locked into the full 30 years.
Yeah.
We tried to get that changed, and
We pushed back on it a little bit and they wouldn't go with any of it.
How long has that tower, that Verizon tower been up there? Like how many years?
Probably since like 2010.
2010, so it's been up there about 14 years-ish?
Yeah, at least, because right after I started here, that tower went in.
Can we negotiate for some reduced rates from Verizon?
Yeah, we're thinking, I like it.
Yes.
I'm a fan of the burden limit, or excuse me, have take the one that you have, that we have no guarantee that you back out at any time. And I hear you that it is, things are more important thing, like people do that, it's in their monthly budget, it's more than what we pay, but it's being done already. To say that it's not going to take over in 10 years, I feel is wildly optimistic. I like a bird in the hand and then adjusting it and looking at compound interest.
Okay. So tell me if I'm wrong, I'm getting kind of a 50-50 thing. Is that fair or?
I was thinking a monthly thing right up until you mentioned, could you put some sort of, I don't know, town rule on there that, hey, this money's gonna be invested for the next 20 years, we're not gonna touch it.
Well, yeah, I think,
Or
yeah,
there's nothing that binds the future council.
yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
20 years.
And there are some issues with municipalities investing, just because of the risk that goes along. I mean, these are essentially public funds, and we're not allowed to risk that, that kind of thing.
But there's investments, that there's set investments that the Secretary of State approves. And at that point, public funds can go in there, they don't let you invest anything in high risk.
Yeah. So there are some that we.
And we want to be able to get to it, we're on a set of 20 years, we're saying,
Yeah.
we need to.
What do you say, Troy? I just think it's such a little amount, I mean, we look at $11,000 land quotes, so it's such a little amount of money all at once in this day and age. If you could lock it up into an investment for a while and try to keep your hands off it, it'd be worth it to do it all at once. But otherwise, you have to stick with the monthly. It's just, depends on what you do with it.
We have two different money markets, we can consider putting it in there.
There's advantages and disadvantages to both sides. Did you have something?
So, maybe it's just some clarification. So 2 months ago, I think it was brought up that money would go back into the budget to balance it, because we were already over budget.
Yeah, it's in, and we
So-
balanced, the budget's balanced.
So that would not go towards.
No, the balance, the
current
budget has, in that, that's no longer an issue.
Yeah, that got dealt with.
It's balanced. No, it's balanced, and we didn't count on that money.
Yeah.
But there were these final decision made, so we couldn't count on that money as being part of our budget.
Right,
So-
so like, with any budget, you can't, account for something that you don't have already.
Yeah, so, yeah, but that's been dealt with. Okay, any more discussion on that? Okay, we'll,
And we want, okay. I was gonna say, when the vote comes, we just want to vote up, we think this would be, to help with economic development. The funds, this transaction would help.
Our council, I guess, and I,
Why would I go towards economic development?
Well, because we're trying to have it follow as much as we can the sale of property. And in order not to have something go up for bid, that's the finding that the council would generally make. Now, this doesn't have to follow that exactly. It could be just general, but I thought there was a consideration to see if that would actually apply to that, if there was any challenge on the length of that lease. The council would have at least looked at that issue that they were supposed to look at, to see if it would help.
I understand, but we have no economic development right now other than the one across the street.
It would just assist, it would not, I just dropped down to that exact language, 1 second. That pulled up when I dropped it down. The language says,
what language is this from?
this is a statute 15-1-102. Disposing of municipal property, again, it's not disposing, but if somebody was to look at it, any city or town, upon terms of governing body, therein determines that without advertising for sale or call for bids, after a public hearing, in which notice was given, that the person acquiring the property for use, which the governing body determines will benefit the economic development of the municipality. So having that in this place could benefit, and it could be that it does give decent cell tower coverage to this area in case they were to move someplace else, or something that simple. That's just a finding. If you want to keep following what we're doing in this statute, it's not necessary because it's a disposal of property. But I thought that is the issue that they would want to look at if you're doing something like this.
Clyde, did you have an opinion on what you think lump sum versus monthly, stay with the monthly?
You know, listen to what everybody's saying. Lump sum makes more sense to me because we get our money up front and if we invest it. Can you hear me?
Yep. Okay, so.
And we get money and we can invest that. What can you see in the economic development board? The funds that we have, we will really be able to raise.
Okay.
Tonight, we're gonna take a decision on $150.
Excuse me, but if we could keep it to one conversation at a time, we could get this through this.
So, okay, so, we got a lump sum, and you're in favor of lump sum monthly? Okay, so,
It seems like you said about 50-50, and ultimately it's your decisions. All you're getting is input from us. You didn't have to do this.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that you actually brought it up.
My big concern was the abandonment later on down the road, because that could be expensive. Other than that, it's up to you guys. I just worried you don't get stuck with a $100,000 bill down the road. You cleared that up, so.
yeah, it's in the contract, and he said they all, within 90 days, they restore it back to where it is. Okay. Well, I appreciate the input. It was a good discussion. We'll adjourn this public hearing at 6:27. And that closes things. We'll start our official meeting as soon as we get an agenda.